All right, Shalom. This is your brother Shabar from the Phoenix camp. With that being said, I want to give all honor, glory, and praise to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakadash. Double honors to the elders of Great Millstone, and peace and salutations to the brothers that are doing this work in true sincerity. Jump right into the lesson. This is Psalm 73 and 26, and it says, "My flesh and my heart faileth, but Yahweh is my strength of my heart and my portion forever." So, your flesh, your own mind, that can fail you, man. And if you're relying on that, then basically you're done for. That's why the scriptures constantly speak about relying on the strength of the Lord. He's going to be our stability in the times to come. He's going to be our rock. He's going to be our shield and buckler. And in the hell that's about to be unleashed by the judgment of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. And when I say that, I mean Jacob's trouble, the beginning of sorrows, Matthew the 24th chapter, 2nd Peter the 15th chapter. All those things that are coming upon the earth, man. In the form of judgment, in the form of mass death, in the form of famine, in the form of pestilences. All those things that's going to show forth the righteous indignation of the Lord upon these people. And and people know that something is coming. That's why you got what they call preppers. They want to prepare themselves for a time of trouble. They know that a time of trouble is coming. They know that a great evil is coming. A lot of these Edomites, they build bunkers and they store weapons and ammunition and water and food and so on and so forth, because they know in their spirit that there's an evil time coming, man. They know in their spirit that what's coming for them is not going to be nothing nice. But Esau, being the carnal man that he is, he's going to rely on his own will, his own defense, in the form of relying on weapons and guns and ammunition and so on and so forth, and storing the food. They're supposed to be the greatest so-called Christians, but yet they have no reliance and trust in the Lord whatsoever. So, man, the Lord, their spirit's going to be to trust in the Most High. Remember, run that back again. It said, "For my flesh, so like my flesh and my heart faileth." So that's guaranteed. So King David telling you that to rely on your flesh and your heart is a failure. It says, "But Yahweh is my strength." And is this King David? Or is this Asaph? So like this is a psalm of Asaph. Nevertheless, Asaph is telling you that your flesh and your heart is going to fail. It says, "But Yahweh is my strength and my heart and my portion forever. For lo, they that are far from thee shall perish. Thou hast destroyed all them that go a whoring from thee." To go a whoring after these other philosophies and fashions and ways is to not put your trust in the Lord. That's to put your trust in your own flesh. "But it's good for me to draw near to Yahweh. I put my trust in the Most High, that I may declare all thy works." So let's get a few scriptures. Just get Isaiah the 40th chapter. Salakia. This is Isaiah 40. So the carnal man, he's going to rely in his own wit, his own intelligence, which is nothing compared to the Most High's anger. He's going to try to make a way for himself where he rises above all the death and carnage that's coming for him specifically. Let's get Isaiah 40 and 29. Get Isaiah 40 and 29, and it says, "He giveth power to the faint, and to them that have no might increases strength." Because hey, the average hey, we don't have the ways and the means. We don't do that. We don't go out prepping, man. We don't build underground bunkers. We're not storing vats of food. The other Apostle Harsh is, he bought a long time ago. If you can buy a little bit extra, then go for it, man. But ultimately, I trust in the Lord, man. If that's just common sense to buy a little bit extra if you have the ways and means to do so. But we're not to go overboard or crazy with trying to be a prepper like these Edomites, because ultimately our trust is in the Lord, man. You have a little bit of circumspect about the situations and things going on around you, but ultimately, man, you're trusting the Lord. And if you're the elect, the Lord's going to provide a way for you to escape all those things, man. If you're destined to do so, you could be destined to be a martyr. It all depends on what walk the Lord has for you. So we're not to fear none of those things, man. We're not to rely or trust none of those things. The flesh and the heart's going to fail. The flesh and your mind's going to fail. Your flesh is going to fail you. It's going to weaken. Your mind's going to fail you. It's going to weaken, man. Our ultimate trust is in the Most High. And you got to keep that in mind, as the situations become worse and worse here upon planet Earth, specifically here in Babylon, America, man. So let's get the one best back again. It says Isaiah 40:29, so he gives power to the faint. Let's get the word faint. To the weak. And we are the weak, man. We are the weak here in society. We don't have the weapons. We don't have the guns. We don't have the provisions that or the other things that are available to this devil. We don't have that. If you're a man of the Lord, you don't need it, man. All you really need is your faith. Faith is what's going to bring us through, man. Faith. It says, if the dead that have no might, he'd increase his strength. Even the youth shall faint and be weary, and the young man shall utterly fall. But they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles, shall run, not be weary, they shall walk and not faint. So ultimately, our power on our strength and our ability to endure things, that comes from the Most High. And that's what you got to rely and trust upon. All through the scriptures, there's many examples of the Most High providing for his men. And those that scoffed and scorned at or doubted his ability to do so, they paid a consequence, man. Let's get 2 Corinthians, the 12th chapter. It's a lot. 2 Corinthians 12, start at verse 9. This is 2 Corinthians 12 and 9. So this is Paul. He had an affliction upon him, and he prayed the Lord, for the Most High, Yahweh Shem Yahushai, to take it away from him. But so he was that made him weak. That made him in a state of weakness. That gave him a state of disadvantage. He wasn't in his full strength. But still he did what he had to do regardless, because the Lord put the proper spirit on him to do the things he had to do. And the reason the Lord gave him that affliction because he gave him so much knowledge, and that was to keep him in a humble position. The Lord can do that, man. The Lord does that. He keeps you in a constant state of in hell, because he needs to keep you humble. But I'm gonna get this. This is 2 Corinthians 2. I'll start at verse 7. Lest it be exalted above measure with the bonds of revelation. See, he had a great amount of knowledge. The scripture's talking about knowledge puffs up. So in order for the Most High to keep the apostle Paul humble, he put an affliction upon him. It said, there was given to me a thorn in the flesh, the messenger saying to buffet me, lest I should be exalted above measure. You see that? So that was to keep him humble. It says, for this thing I besought the Lord thrice, that I might depart from me. And he said unto me, my grace is sufficient for thee, for my strength is made perfect in weakness. So he relied on the Lord's strength, man. Even in this time of weakness, even in this time of a physical, disadvantage. He said, most gladly, therefore, will I rather glory in my infirmities, that the power of Yahushai may rest upon me. Therefore I take pleasure in infirmities and reproaches, in necessities, in persecution, distress for Yahushai's sake. For when I am weak, then I am strong. So infirmities, reproaches, persecutions, distresses, those are all things that are coming. Those are all going to be part of Jacob's trouble, the time that we're heading into. So Paul's lesson, Paul's message in that instance is to rely on the Lord, because we're going to be put at a disadvantage. If you don't take that seed here, you're going to be put at a great disadvantage. You claim to be a man of the Lord and preach the truth according to as taught by the elders apostles, great millstone, you're gonna be marked, man. You're gonna be marked as an enemy of the government, of domestic terrorists. So we're gonna be at a great disadvantage. We're gonna be a great point of weakness. But as Paul's pointing out, was to say there, says, when I am weak, I am that then am I strong. So that's the lesson that we gotta understand. It's not gonna be nothing of our own will or own doing. It's not gonna matter how many bags of rice you buy, or whatever, man, or if you or how big your bunker is, or how many weapons or ammunition you got. None of those things are gonna matter. Ultimately, it's gonna matter if you're predestined to make it or not, man. Whatever the Lord has predestined you to do. That's what your ultimate trust on. Like I said, there's common sense. If you have the ways and means to buy you a little extra for a rainy day, that's just only common sense. But if we're not to go, like these Edomites with it, man. Let's go. Let's get Job, the 4th chapter. This is Job, Salak. 4 and see about verse 3. Is that it? Salak. Salak, I mean 12 and 13. This is Job 12. What's our verse 12? The ancient is wisdom, and the length of days understanding. With him is wisdom and strength. So that's the key point I want to get. Verse 13. With him is wisdom and strength. That's the Most High. Gives us wisdom and strength. For the things that we got to go through. He has counsel and understanding. Behold, he breaketh down, and it cannot be built up again. He shut us up. He shut us up a man, and there can be no opening. Behold, he always holdeth the waters. If they dry up, also he sendeth them out, and they overturn the earth. So he controls all those things, man. He controls famine. He controls substance. He controls abundance. He controls lack. He controls all those things, man. The scripture says the Lord makes us poor and makes us rich. He's run the program. So ultimately, your reliance and trust is on him. It said, with him is strength and wisdom, and it said, deceive and deceiver are his. So basically, the point I want to get is that with him, verse 13, with him is wisdom and strength. He has counsel and understanding. He decides what's broken and what's built. He decides what prospers and what lacks. So if the Most High is the final say so in that, then that means that ultimately our trust for anything is going to be towards him. That's why Asaph said in Psalm 73, he said the flesh and the heart fail. So that's what we got to consider, man. We got to consider that our flesh and our mind, they're gonna, if we rely on that, they're gonna do you in. Let's get Psalms 18 and 1. It says, I will love thee, O Yahweh, my strength. The Lord is my rock and my fortress and my deliverer, my power, my strength, in him whom I will trust, my buckler and the horn of my salvation and my high tower. I will call upon the Lord, the word be praised, so I'll be saved from my enemies. So see, it's not going to be how much guns or ammunition you have. It's going to be whether or not the Most High is dealing with you. Let's go down to verse 19. It says, he brought me forth also into a large place, delivering me because he delighted in me. See, the ultimate deliverance is going to become from the Most High. It says, the Lord rewarded me according to my righteousness, according to the cleanness of my hands, as he recompensed me. And the Lord, the elect are going to be the only ones that are going to have that privilege, man. Elect in the 1/3. For I've kept the ways of Yahweh and have not wickedly departed from my power. For all his judgments were before me, I did not put away his statutes from me. I was also right before him, and I kept myself from my iniquity. Therefore the Lord recompensed me according to my righteousness, according to the cleanness of my hands in his eyesight. With the merciful thou wilt show thyself merciful, with the upright man thou wilt show thyself upright. With the pure thou wilt show thyself pure, and with the forward thou wilt show thyself forward. For thou wilt save the afflicted people, but will bring down high looks. See, so ultimately salvation is going to come from the Most High. Our assurance, our trust, going back to verse 1, our strength, Our buckler, let's get the word buckler. Our shield, or that's a protection. And the horn, let's get the word horn. Strength, my salvation, and my high tower, let's get that too. My stronghold. See, so that's the only thing that's going to keep us, good, in a good state. So ultimately, the point of the lesson is that your flesh and your mind is going to fail, man. Ultimately, I trust in the Lord. With that being said, it's a real quick lesson right here at the plantation. Most I will and hope is edifying. Was that I'm going to give honor, glory, and praise to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai. Kahala Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai. Let's keep on pushing. Shalom.